Alrighty. Alright. So, I'm re-recording this because I recorded this original video on Tuesday, but the Pokemon Presents was this week. Pretty nice for me. That video ran on way too long, and also the mic was quiet, so I'm just gonna redo it and try to wrap this up as fast as possible so I can get to editing it and doing whatever I'm about to put over it. So the main thing I'm with for Pokemon is the games. So that's going to be the main focus. So let me just go through everything else real fast. Worlds looks entertaining. I don't do in-person events or competitive Pokemon, so that's not really for me. All the animated shows or animated shorts are pretty well animated. I like them. I want to be an animator, so these look really cool to me. It's just not the type of thing I normally share. What Path to the Peak is the TCG base, so that looks cool. Horizons looks awesome. For the more regular anime, and then Paldean Winds looks awesome. Like that looks cool. Let's see, Pokemon Masters, not much to say. Or with Unite or Cafe Mix, I play Masters more than the other two, but I do play the other two on and off. Pretty nice. Uh, Adding new stuff to them. I think they're relatively worth it, especially if you already play the games. The Pokemon TCG Game Boy game is on Game Boy emulator for Nintendo Switch Online. That looks pretty cool. I think I played a little bit of it, but I have more of an excuse to play it now. Let's see. Pokemon Stadium 2 is on Nintendo Switch. Nintendo 64 emulator. Don't have that. Don't see myself getting it, but that still looks cool. I think. Oh no, this is Scarlet and Violet related, but the Get Mew and Mewtwo. I'm excited for that. I'm gonna record that. Don't know if I'm gonna post it. I might just use it for background footage and videos, or I might just do a video talking about my experience with it, because the general setup for it seems cool. You still get a gifted Mew, but that Mew is basically randomly generated to be unique to you, and then they'll have raids from now until the Mewtwo raid starts, which is I think September 1st, and that's to train your Mew, and then you have to use your Mew in the Mewtwo raid. You don't have to use it, I'm pretty sure, but if you do use it, apparently you get something special. Don't know what that special thing is. Could be a special cutscene, could be a special item, could be something else entirely. It just depends. I will be doing it. I just don't know about streaming it. I think the last time I streamed an event for that game was the Cinderace raid. So we've had a few since then, and I've just done them off screen. But I do have the Pokemon. The password: get your Mew. You're with a 0. I should do that now, so I can. I probably don't need to do the training events, but resources are resources. So, alrighty. So that just leaves us with the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. I knew I was gonna like this well before this trailer, but this trailer cemented it even more. I'm going to love this. It does what Sword and Shield does, but I think just straight better, which says a lot because I really liked what they did with the DLC for Sword and Shield. It was mainly because it was extending the game, which I think was something they should have been doing a while before this. Like, it always sucks that they either wouldn't extend it at all in the case of X and Y, or with other games they would extend it, but you'd have to buy a whole separate game. I mean, if you buy the DLCs, it is basically a whole separate game. Like, both of them, but normal people don't do that. So I do have the presents playing in the background just to refresh my memory. And I do have some notes in general, but I will be changing them, the general order of them. So I think I'll start with the characters. Learning more about the twins, or I'm sorry, the siblings are not twins. I auto default to twins when I see them. But they look even more interesting. It looks like it's going to be the type of thing where, at least for the teal mask, your relationship with both of them at the end will be the exact opposite that it was toward the beginning. with Carmine starting out. I wouldn't say hating you because I don't see hatred yet. Like I don't see it anywhere yet. But maybe like indifference at minimum, and like an issue with you at most, to actually liking you somewhat. And with Kieran, it's probably going to be the other way around. Yeah, that seems pretty cool. Um, I'm excited to see how the progression in that goes. I think you're supposed to be going around to find folk storyboards. There are probably going to be bosses around them or ways that you're supposed to get them. That'll be interesting. And then the Indigo Disc, not much about that was revealed, if there even is much of a story there. I do like the closer resemblance to Sun and Moon, with trials before fighting four people on each section. I would assume that you'd then have to fight all of them in a row afterwards. So yeah, and then the fact that, since this is on the screen for me right now, the fact that it all ties back to the base game's Area Zero, or maybe it'll get new areas. But the fact that it ties back to the main region and the main story is awesome, because Sword and Shields didn't do that. That was... Where did I heard this somewhere else before, but someone said, like, Sword and Shield is a collection of stories. This feels, even if they aren't exactly, like completely linked, like, straight linked, they feel like these ones have something to do with each other, instead of Sword and Shield, which really only had the Galarian Star Tournament to tie them all together. So I enjoy that. Next, the characters. I talked about the twins already. Briar, that school teacher. She looks weird. That's all I'm going to say about her. Other than her and another character, I think the next character I talked about, I knew full well it was over for them the moment I saw them. Because the internet's the internet. I like her design, though. She looks cool. Also has Pokemon Violet's title, or box art, basically, as a jacket. So yeah, she looks cool. Next, Perrin. Yeah, that was her name. I was sorry. I was scrubbing through the video looking for her name. She is she's an Adaman descendant. That's actually pretty cool. Not sure about people relating her also to Irida. I guess the hairstyle is similar, but that's really the only... And that they're female, but that's like the only similarities I see with them. Next up is the Blueberry League. I like all four of them. It's Drayton, that black and white reference. Like him a lot. Funnily enough, I played white. I originally wanted to get black, but I ended up playing white. So I never got a chance to fight him. I did play white too, though, so you do get to fight him there as a gym leader, because Iris is the champion. So I eventually did, but I didn't get to fight him the first time. It took a few years before I would get to battle him, ever. But yeah, this person, absolutely, like, the more I look at him, the more I see similarities to him and Drayden from Black and White. Awesome. Let's see, Crispin looks pretty nice. Like his hair, and the fact that he's cooking a quick ball, that's a little bit different. Lacey's nice, but we saw her already. What was the last one? Amaris? Hairstyle is different. Still like it. Definitely like the rigid type, especially on this frame that I stopped at. You can definitely see how the personalities are shown through these poses. She's just like standing, arms straight at her sides, solid, serious. I like them. Don't really have much else to say about them, other than their types. Everyone except Lacey's is obvious. Here's to hoping that they are good characters. Or you just like characters in the sense like the gym leaders and stuff. I tend to prefer when even the bosses are like that instead of just being there. So yeah, I think that's about it for characters. And I talked about the stories already. Pokemon. So Applin gets a new evolution, and I think that's pretty cool. That I think it stays the same type. It stays the same type. What was it? It was, I think it was Grass Dragon. Diplin. Yeah, Diplin. It's Grass Dragon. Yeah. It has a new ability, super sweet syrup. It's basically an intimidate, but instead of lowering your attack, it lowers your evasiveness, which makes some moves with lower accuracy more viable. Of course, if they don't raise their evasiveness again. And it has a new move, Syrup Bomb, a special type grass move, so it does damage. That causes an explosion of syrup. Lowers its speed stat, lowers the target speed stat each turn for 3 turns. I don't remember how much of that of how much of your stat that takes away. What was 2 stages double? If when raised, and 2 stages half when lowered. I think that was what it was. But yeah, Diplin's pretty nice. Then for the Indigo Disc, we have Archaludon, which is a evolution for another Galar Pokemon, Duraludon. I actually saw that Pokemon, and other than its typing, which has a typing to Dialga, which is my favorite of the two base Sinnoh legendaries, didn't really care for it. It was a single stage. I don't really do single stage Pokemon like that. So this will enable me to use it. I'll actually want to use it this time. The only other thing that I wanted to... well, before we get into the move that it has, because that's going to take not that much time at all, the only thing I'm thinking of this currently is, I wonder if they would give any of Applin's evolutions further evolutions, because they are all just one stage evolutions. Like, there's basic Applin, and then there's them. They still have space to evolve again, so I'm wondering if they would do that. And what would that even look like? I don't even know where you... the only one that looks like it would make sense to evolve again would be Diplin. I think what I would do is I would try to mix both Appleton and Flapple. But I don't know how exactly I'd do that yet. Maybe eventually a video of me doing that would... like drawing what I think a mix evolution for Diplin would be. But I don't know. Anyway, back to Staple Remover. That'll make sense in post when I actually put the picture up. Archaludon gets a new move called Electro Shot. Electro Shot is essentially, from the way I see it, is an electric type Hyper Beam, or another electric type Hyper Beam. Or maybe there's probably another move that's like more like this, but my first thought was Hyper Beam, especially since it is a 2-turn attack. In order to fire the attack, and then under a weather condition, in this case being rain, it fires immediately. So yeah, this feels like an electric type Hyper Beam. I also would like to point out that unlike Hyper Beam, it looks like it raises its stats when it's absorbing electricity before it fires. So that could be a reason to not use it in rainy weather, or not have the rainy weather up if you're trying to use it if you need special attack for something else. That's pretty cool. The only other things that we have right now are the names of 2 others. You've probably seen people, if you're watching this somehow, you've probably seen people ripping on this man already. But, what was it? Raging Bolt and Iron Crown. I like Raging Bolt. I've seen people talking about how the Paradox designs are disrespectful to the original designs. And my thing is, unless it is for me anyway, unless it's like supposed to be an extension, like a form change, a regional variant, or an evolution, I don't think that is a thing that they have to do. Like, at all. Especially for these, we've been called, like, they're called Paradox Pokemon. The definition of Paradox is something absurd or self-contradictory. So it looking stupid and being disrespectful is absolutely the point. You don't have to like it. That's the point. And I don't think that can be used against the Pokemon like in an objective way. Uh, but anyway, in my opinion, I like them both. These were both definitely called by fans already. Now, my thing is, what the hell is Entei about to do? Right? I could see a Triceratops or whatever the hell that one dinosaur was that had like basically a mace at the end of its tail. That one would be cool. And I've seen some people throwing around speculation that the actual Johto legendaries, Ho-Oh and Lugia, are going to get something. Not too sure about that one. They could. It'd be real cool if they did. But for right now, we're just going to keep it to these trios. But actually, I just thought of another question involving this. Ignoring the Beast Paradox Pokemon, the Swords of Justice Paradox Pokemon, Keldeo is part of that group, is it not? Right? They are part. Keldeo is part of the Swords of Justice. Yeah, there are 4 Swords of Justice, so if these 3 are getting something, I feel like Keldeo has to get something at some point. With that one, the thing is that they probably won't do it. Here's the 2 things I'm saying. Either Keldeo doesn't get something, or they make a new 4th beast to then give it a paradox so that it matches the 4 that the Swords of Justice have. I don't see that second one happening as cool as it is. So they probably won't give Keldeo anything. A little unfortunate, but not that big of a deal. Look pretty cool. I'd say Electric Dragon, since Walking Wake was Water Dragon. And maybe Water Psychic for Iron Crown. The Iron Crown's horns do extend, and those are pretty cool. Just like Iron Leaves. Actually, where did Iron Crown even come from as a name? Because Iron Leaves is nowhere close to that. Whatever. Let's see if I probably won't put this in the Pokemon section, but I just figured I'd give it space just in case I do. The form we knew Terrepa goes as is actually its terrestrialization form. So when it terrestrializes, that's what it looks like. Its normal form is that weird bald turtle thing. Still no type for it. Like both of them, one of them is weird as hell. So yeah, that's about it for that one. The next thing I'm talking about, there's a story. Oh, features. So at least from what they showed, obviously we're closer to the teal mask. It's yesterday it was exactly 5 weeks away, and we got a release date for it. It's September 13th. But at least from what they showed us, there seems to be a lot more features in the teal mask. Like just straight new features and not additions to features, like being able to fly with Koraidon or Miraidon in the Indigo Disc. So they're doing mass outbreak events. Those are mass outbreaks, but they're like the raid events where you update your game via Poke Portal, and then there will be a mass outbreak at certain areas for a certain amount of time. That seems pretty cool, especially for certain types of Pokemon that may be rarer. They could do that. You mentioned Perrin earlier. This one is like, people keep saying Pokemon Snap, and that is absolutely what this is. My first thought was the Pokefinder, which was essentially a way limited Pokemon Snap in Gen 7. So Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I guess like Snap has way more going on, but that's because taking pictures is the point of the game instead of a side thing. Like it is in Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and now Scarlet and Violet. But apparently Perrin is looking for a Pokemon, and we need to take pictures of other Pokemon to get to it. Also, we're going to a specific area where people don't go. What was it? Timeless Woods? I wonder what's in this place. Because I think the paradoxes are supposed to be in Area 0. It'll be interesting to see that. Let's see. There's Ogre Ousting, Basically, the balloon mini games from Legends Arceus again. Except this time you collect the berries while doing it, and the berries that you keep by the end after collecting them, popping balloons, and fending off wild Pokemon trying to eat the berries you got, you'll be able to make mochi with them, and those mochi can change base stats. And then there's the fresh start mochi, which can remove all base stats and just completely wipe the slate clean. More ways to train Pokemon, pretty cool. I also like how the Get Mew and Mewtwo event runs past when this one comes out, so you can use this if you're struggling. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Another way to make Pokemon that aren't sheer trash. It's becoming more and more viable to use your favorites, both in story mode and in connectivity play. Not going to say competitive, but we'll just have to wait and see with that one. Yeah, that's pretty good. Other than that, there's the Roto Stick, which lets you take photos with wider angles. They're also going to let you use new poses, and they're also going to allow you to tell Pokemon to wait in place so you can take pictures with them. Uh, I have footage of why that is a godsend, and then you can also share photos using the Union Circle, which is another good thing. I can't wait to see what monstrosities people put online with that. And I'm going to put this here because I don't know where else to put it. In the photos that they used on this page in the news section on the Scarlet and Violet website, I've noticed two things. One, on the picture for the Roto Stick, that's actually the person taking the photo, that's a new hairstyle they got. I looked in the game, and on sites, this hairstyle doesn't exist in the base game. So that's a new hairstyle. They're not about to just add one, so there's going to be more. And then for the picture that's under Direct Your Pokemon, that could just be the lighting, but that is a new color, right? Like a gradient color green for their hair. Because I also couldn't find any options in Scarlet and Violet that look like that either. I said in my last video I wanted more customization options specifically for hair, because the school outfits I didn't mind, but it's going to be a limitation. They're sticking with it, and then everything else other than the hair and nose is just better than Sword and Shield. They have way more options, which is probably why they have so many options, is because they were doing the school outfit stuff. And I think in later games they could probably just port this stuff, maybe depending on how they do it. They could just port all this stuff and then also do maybe the closed stuff again. The only thing that I would honestly ask for at this point would be different bag types, because they don't do animations with your bag anymore. So I want like the sling type bag that Nimona has, or like that like hiking backpack Arvin has, or even like the Eevee backpack that Penny has. I just like the different types of bags, and I want them. But yeah, that's for the teal mask. It features for the Indigo Disc. Um, Other than the Blueberry League, which we've talked about, I think already. You get the ability to straight fly with your dragon. I mentioned that already, but it bears repeating because I think it should count as a feature here. But then you also get the ability to do the League Club at Blueberry Academy. Essentially, you get a room that you can. It's like the dojo in the Isle of Armor and Sword and Shield. It's a place where you can that you can upgrade, that can change a number of things. It's way more involved than that place, though. You can change the theme of this place. I think we've seen 3 themes so far, but I'd hazard a guess to say there'd be more, and that they've only shown us 2. You can actually, the way that you get that is that you can give Blueberry points (BP) to other clubs in the school, and they'll give you, I think, items or features, and one of those clubs you can support will give you the ability to change the way that this place looks, which is awesome. You can also invite special guests here. So they've only shown people from Blueberry Academy and from Paldea normally. in this room. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was anyone important in the teal mask that they would end up here as well. You can invite them over, and you get to rebattle them. I mentioned that in my last video. More gym leader rematches, nice. Uh, you can trade with them after you beat them in battle, I think, and there's more character development. And also, they don't mention this on this page at all, but you can change your Pokeball throwing style. Again, they brought that back from Sun and Moon as well. So I think that's everything. It still ended up being just as long as my last take, so that's that gives me confidence. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know when this will come out. Not sure if this will come out Friday. I'll try. But yeah, that's about it.